Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of the Library Marketing Show. I'm Angela Hursh from superlibrarymarketing.com, the website that helps you with your library marketing. Head there, click on the Library Marketing Show tab to suggest a topic for a future episode, ask a question, nominate your library or another library for Kudos. We're going to do Kudos in a few minutes. First, I have 4 huge pieces of news around social media that have a direct impact on your library marketing. Before we get into that, make sure you subscribe to my channel. Hit the big old subscribe button down there so that you can get a notification every time I post a video like this. Let's get into today's social media topics because we've got some really huge news, as I said. So the first thing, and I'm so excited to share this with you, TikTok is apparently testing a new feature that would show content based on location. When I work with libraries, one of the things that I tell them about TikTok as they're trying to decide whether to post there is that you can post a great video and lots of people can see it, but most of those folks are not going to be in your service area. And that's not exactly good marketing because you want your efforts, your TikTok video, to lead to an increase in circulation or more attendance at your events. This feature would eliminate that problem. So they're still testing it. There's a whole article about this. I'm going to put it down in the big show description box down below. You can read more about it. I promise you I will keep an eye on this feature because if they release it, I think it's going to have major positive implications for libraries. And if you haven't been thinking about using TikTok up to this point, it's probably now a good time to start thinking about whether you have the staff and bandwidth to do that, because this kind of changes the game in terms of the effectiveness of the marketing on TikTok. Speaking of TikTok, my second big piece of news comes from Google itself. So Google apparently shared some information that shows that TikTok is being used more frequently by young people to search for brands, products, and services. Google's senior vice president said that their studies show that something like 40% of young people, and that's usually Gen Zs and some millennials that they're talking about, when they're looking for a place to go to lunch, they don't go to Google Maps and search. They go to TikTok or Instagram. It's not surprising, but it's notable because if Google is getting worried about it, that means that TikTok, again, may be something that your library needs to think about. Those same young people may be looking for services that you provide. They may be looking for reader's advisory and books. And if they're searching on TikTok instead of searching on Google, that's another argument for starting a TikTok channel for your library. So I know I've given you a lot to think about there, but I actually have 2 more pieces of news for you. The next piece of news is about TikTok and Instagram. So Instagram, in its battle with TikTok, focused on Reels, has done a thing where they've made it more difficult for you to repost an Instagram Reel to TikTok. It used to be that you could create a Reel and you didn't even have to post it to Instagram. You could download the video after you edited it in the Reels app, and then you could repost that to TikTok without posting it on Reels. That was something I actually did because it's easier to edit with Instagram. Instagram's editing features are just easier to use. However, it appears now that downloading a video that you've created in Instagram without actually posting it to Instagram, Instagram is going to strip the audio from that video. So you're going to want to post it to TikTok and you're going to have no audio. You have to post a video to Instagram Reels and then download it after it's posted. Then you can post it to TikTok. It just shows that they're getting really concerned about and competitive about with TikTok, and so they're taking some steps. So just something to keep in mind as you're working on Instagram Reels and TikTok with your library. And my final piece of news is that Reels scheduling is now available to all folks in the Meta Creator Studio on Facebook. So if you create a Reel and you want to schedule it to show up on Instagram at a time in the future, after you created it, you can do that. Just go to the Creator Studio app In Meta, as you know, Instagram and Facebook are owned by the same company, and you're going to be able to schedule your reels in the Creator app, which is kind of cool. So that was a lot of stuff to go over today. And again, my website is superlibrarymarketing.com. If you have any questions or comments about any of today's topics, you can go ahead and let me know in the comments down below. You can head to superlibrarymarketing.com and click on the tab to suggest a topic and nominate a library for Kudos. And Kudos today goes to the Berkley Library. So the Berkley Library is this tiny little library in Michigan, and I will put the link to the story down in the show description as well. But they had a patron who apparently their library director had a big old beard. And the patron said, I'll give you $500 if you shave off your beard. And so he did. And they're going to use that money to start a vinyl collection for their patrons. And I just thought that was A, really cute story, and B, a really cool way to get some press coverage with just a fun little story about how a library director gave up his beard to provide a vinyl collection for his patrons. So kudos to you, Berkley Library. I am always amazed at how many people come and watch my videos every week. I really appreciate it. Please subscribe to my channel. Comment on this video. Let me know what you thought of the headlines. Thank you so much for watching every week, and I'll see you next time.